We continue our story in Omnipotent City, where everything's going great. Albeit, I am going to change a lot of things about this because I don't think it was really suitable for the movie, to be honest. There were so many things going on in this that was just horrible. And the gods having literal orgies. I mean, I know they're messed up, especially that Zeus one over there, but I'm going to change a lot here. It's a gladiator pit instead, where some of the finest warriors can actually come, and the gods bet on anything. Their, spouses, their mortals, their jewelry and stuff, everything. However, at the entrance today, our crew arrives. Hela, Thor, Fafnir, Loki, and Valkyrie, with all of them taking in the scene, and Thor is actually excited to meet his hero, Zeus, and hoping that, well, he's just like the legends say, all-powerful, heroic, and everything. To which, this is where, Fafnir looks at Thor like, dude, what? You think Zeus, of all people, is heroic? Do you not know what this man does to, like, his wife on a common basis? And this is where Loki's like, dude, nah, don't ruin it for him. We know, but he was just, he was always infatuated with the other god of thunder. Like, that's his celebrity. To which Valkyrie's like, yeah, unfortunately, infatuation with the wrong god. Going to get a drink, by the way. So this is where Valkyrie simply leaves here. And this is where Hela is like, perhaps we can actually use this to our advantage. A realm full of gods, and maybe we can actually recruit some to help us out. What do you think? And this is where Loki simply looks at her like, I suppose that's not a bad idea, and we could use all the help we can get, especially with this god butcher running around. And this is where Hela simply states, alright, Fafnir, I'm assuming you're going as well. To which Fafnir's like, yes, my dear, I'm going to leave. To which she grabs him by his face and says, good, don't have too much fun while you're gone. To which he goes, yes, dear, and simply leaves. To which Loki is like, you have a very interesting domination complex. To which she simply states, to which Hela simply states, Loki, my dear, a girl can't have fun with her own boy toy. Come on now. It's me. Well, I guess we really haven't hung out before now, have we? To which Loki is like, no. By the way, quick question. Do you intend to rule Asgard when this is all over, when you save the realm? To which he says, no, I'm not. I've been trapped for so long. The entire universe has changed so much that I just simply want to explore it. To which Thor is like, so you're not going to rule it? Huh. Okay, then I guess that just leaves me and Loki, or maybe just Loki. To which Hela says, well, Asgard was doing fine with Loki and you running around doing crises, but maybe I will be stepping in every now and then with Fafnir. To which Thor says, great, that would actually take a lot of the work off, and maybe I can show you two around Midgard, assuming Fafnir doesn't, eat anybody. To which Hela says, unless I want to. And this is where we head over to a bar where we see a bunch of things. Aliens, other gods, and, well, obviously some mortals that work for the gods as well. Heroes of various legends here. And this is where Fafnir and Valkyrie both show up. To which Fafnir's like, okay, well, I'm going to grab a menu and I'm going to eat. And this is where Valkyrie's like, great, I need that drink real quick. And so this is where Fafnir simply sits there, opens his menu, and is like, dang, they got some good stuff here. We had a few decent meals when I was on Sakaar with that green Goliath, but this is where he hears some familiar voice telling him, Fafnir, you old son of a gun. To which he turns to see Sobek, and the two look at each other and they're like, bro, 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 and they hug each other, back off, and then roar to the top of their lungs at the sky, causing some of the bar patrons to turn. But when they see it so big, they kind of just turn back like, oh, no, nope, never mind, it's a God's business, not ours. And this is where Fafnir is like, dude, where have you been? And this is where Fafnir is like, I've been on Sakaar for a while. Well, Sobek saying, yeah, that does make sense. I forgot you got banished by Odin. So unfair. You could have stayed with the Egyptian pantheon. To which this is where he's like, that would be interesting. I mean, I ain't really been doing nothing in a while. So I mean, I could still take you up on that deal as to what God of Dragons. To which Sobek is like, yes, Raw would still be willing to give it to you, man. But hey, I mean, it has been a while. To which Factor is like, dude, where's your sister? I'm surprised she's not around. To which Sobek laughs and is like, she got sealed again. And he's like, really? Amit got sealed again. What was she trying to do? You know, free will from the mortals and all that. To which he's like, yeah, that makes sense. And Fafnir's like, so, dang, what do they got to eat in this place, man? I'm quite starving, as obviously. And Sobe's like, oh yeah. See, I already ordered for you, man. You know, you actually use, you know, this device to actually over here on the table to actually order your food, and it just automatically comes. Here, I got something for you real quick. Yeah, here it is. So this is where the food just manifests out of nowhere, and Fafnir Potion's like, oh shoot, this stuff is real. All right, shoot, let's dig in. And so they dig into whatever creature is just on the table, fried, cooked, and seasoned properly. Come on now, you know gods ain't eating nothing when don't season it. And this is where Loki, Hela, and Thor make their way to the arena, filled with many gods. You have some from different pantheons: Egyptian, Norse, Japanese, Chinese, Aztec, and stuff like that. All the gods simply right there. Just think of every god from Smite in a way, just sitting right there. And all above it all is Zeus. Not the Zeus that we saw in the movie Thor Love and Thunder, but no. We get a comic accurate Zeus, if you will. Now, I'm not saying Russell Crowe's a bad actor or anything. He's a great actor, and I think he would still play a great Zeus. But again, make him buff. Make him, you know, the Zeus from the comics. And this is where we actually see Ares finishing off another opponent as Hercules simply claps his hands, enjoying his brother's display. To which Hela's like, quite interesting. I wonder if I can actually get my own champion in there. The gods always make their deals, and she is trying to convince them so. However, this is where Zeus simply asks, does anyone have any worthy opponents that would want to face the arena? They can have anything they want to choose. And this is where he hears a voice and turns to see Hela saying, I have a champion, and I think he would make a very good addition. To which Zeus is like, Hela, it's been quite some time. And here I thought you were sealed away. To which Hela says, yes, but the old man is dead. And this is where Zeus simply asks, okay, well, name your champion and your price. Well, I'm assuming my champion will also want his, so I'm going to let him decide. Bring forth Fafnir. Now, while that's happening, Fafnir and Sobek get into an arm wrestling match at the bar. And to which Fafnir makes a joke like, dude, I thought you used to bench press stars. What's going on here? To which he says, first of all, that was Clef. Second of all, I beat Clef. You shouldn't be the strongest, if I remember correctly. To which Fafnir says, been fighting for a couple years, so that kind of builds strength. However, this is where they're both magically teleported, because again, Sobek is connected to Fafnir at the moment, to the arena. And he's like, oh my gosh, are you serious? I just kind of got done eating. So he has to wipe off some of the sauce or creature that was on his face. And this is where Hela's like, there we are. My dear Fafnir. And Sobek, hi. It has been so long. To which Sobek is like, Hela, wow. You're free. Cool. Great. I'll just take my seat up right next to y'all. Shoot, I don't mind hanging out with the crew and everything. And this is where Fafnir kind of looks at her like, okay, so what's the deal? And Hela's like, okay, so look, Zeus was offering anyone a reward. They can keep it, they can do whatever. And so I was thinking, and she whispers in his ears, and this is where Fafnir's like, okay. I got you. And Zeus says, all right then, state your business. And this is where Fafnir is like, yeah, I'll be taking your wife Hera real quick. To which the crowd is like, what? And to which is like, yeah, you heard me loud and clear, right? I challenge you for your wife Hera. And this is where Hela simply just kind of like smiles and sits in a chair and is like, see, this is actually going to be interesting. Always wanted a sister wife with a husband as well. This should be a very interesting prospect. And to which Zeus looks at Hela and then looks at Fafnir and is like, you dare presume to challenge me, king of the gods. And to which Sobek is kind of like, well, I mean, you're kind of the king of your own pantheon, so what was that? Oh, nothing. Pompous, arrogant cheater. I heard that. I was saying that your magnificence is going to lose at the same time. Ah, no, I just made it worse for myself. To which Fafnir just kind of laughs and is like, yeah, I mean, you cheat on her constantly. Why not give her a relationship that's actually positive for once? To which Hera's like, that is a interesting prospect. But can you really beat my husband? Can he really beat my husband, Hela? To which Hela simply is like, Fafnir's never failed me before. Never's really lost a fight unless it was to Odin using banishment magic like a fool he was. And to which, this is where she states, is Zeus too scared to come down and face him? To which this is where Zeus is like, I fear nothing. And well, he jumps down into the arena along with Hera, saying to his wife, sit here and watch as I dismantle this fool, this foolish creature for daring to challenge me for your hand. To which Hera's kind of like, maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea to actually move on for once. To which Thor is like, great, I finally get to see my Zeus, my hero Zeus in action. I can't wait, but I kind of feel bad that I'm kind of rooting against Fafnir here. To which Loki's like, well, I mean, now that we have Zeus's attention, I guess this will be a great moment for you, him noticing you. To which Thor's like, oh, I hope so, because again, I would love for him to use his thunderbolt, maybe even give me an autograph with it. I really just need this all together. And Loki just looks at it for a minute, thinking to himself like, dear God, I never realized my brother was this such of a fanboy of another god when he's the god of thunder himself. But he's like, you know what? I'll be right back. And this is where Loki simply slinks off, right? And just kind of disappears for a bit, saying that he'll be back in, chilling out in Omnipotent City. However, this is where we pan out to the arena, where Zeus simply throws his cape to Hela, and Fafnir walks up to him. As Zeus is simply monologuing, he simply states, watch me beat this monster into the dirt, till Fafnir straight up punches him right into the arena wall. And this is where the crowd goes like, ooh, because the force was so strong, it made a sickening crunch on Zeus's jaw and sent him tumbling back. And this is where Hera is just like, the creature's definitely got spine and balls. Honey, are you just going to really sit there and let that slide? Couldn't be half the other gods in here. To which Zeus is like, watch me, and throws a lightning bolt, full force, full speed, at Fafnir. Obviously now with more deadlier intent than before. However, Fafnir simply breathes in or inhales and then exhales a huge flame from his mouth, causing it, well, both of the attacks to collide like it's a darn Pokemon battle, no pun intended, and it explodes. However, Zeus uses this moment to get in a thundering 1-2 combo. However, when he goes for the 3, Fafnir simply catches it and then slams Zeus head first into the ground, telling him that, come on now, has a god really gotten that lazy to where he's going to use a blindsiding smoke screen? And to where before Zeus can get up, he actually ignites his fist on fire and then straight up punches Zeus further into the ground, causing, well, a skid path in the arena and then just pretty much landing him into the wall, with all the gods looking like, dang, is Zeus really losing? Nah, ain't no way Zeus about to lose to this dude. I mean, come on now. So Zeus actually summons his lightning bolt, and after throwing a powerful strike at him, goes in and actually tries to unleash everything he has. He's pissed off at this point. However, this is where Fafnir actually starts landing fire blast after fire blast after fire blast. He's actually not only pelting Zeus, but pelting the ground around him, with Zeus noticing that he is missing some of these shots. And this is where Ares is like, wait a minute, what is he actually doing? There's no way Father would lose to something like this. He's reckless. He's not even doing anything smart. To which Hercules says, you have always been one to underestimate your opponent and almost get yourself into bad situations. Father is sometimes no different, but this ought to be interesting. And so Thor is like, wait a minute, what is he doing exactly? I mean, he's missing, and some of these feel intentional. Is he losing his mind? To which Hela simply states no. She's known Fafnir for far too long to know that him being reckless. But he's got an idea, and he's going to see it through. To which this is where Fafnir opens his wings and flies right up into the air, telling Zeus he dares him. He dares the god of thunder to try that again. And so this is where Zeus, utilizing his thunderbolt as a blade this time, swings right at him. However, Fafnir ducks underneath the blow and bear hugs him, or simply like forward-facing full Nelsons Zeus here, and simply states, I can't believe you fell for that. Out of all the idiotic things a god could do. And this is where we actually see a fire vortex being formed, drawing in from any fire or smoke that the battlefield has from the missing fire blast, and he increases it over and over and over again to the point where the temperature becomes too much. It reaches cosmic levels to where even stars can't even produce this heat. Not even the hottest stars in the universe could produce the flames that Fafnir can. And so when the fight is pretty much done, we see Zeus battered, bruised, and unconscious, with a tired Fafnir looking at Hela, then at Hera, and extends his hand, simply stating, I've won. I think I'll be taking you and leaving now. To which Hera looks at him, a little in disbelief, but actually happy. She gets to go with someone else. And this is where she takes not only Fafnir's hand, but Hela's as well. However, this is not where we end off our story. No. You see, Loki has been following a trail ever since he left the arena. He sees people over in agony as he walks through. Still invisible, by the way, because he cloaked himself. And he's walking into the cells, seeing prisoners hunched over in pain, and their bodies simply, I guess you could say, bubbling from the inside out in a mutated fashion. And Loki's looking like, what in the seven hells, or what in the Muspelheim could cause this? However, Loki gets his answer as he walks further down into the chamber. These are some of the gods' greatest prisoners, right? So what else could be kept down here? And this is where Loki walks into a void chamber where there's only a single landmass, and he looks around it. It's big, it's huge, and it's spacious. However, what he sees horrifies him. And he sees Gore, the God Butcher, corrupting and influencing with his own powers the World Serpent. And that's where we're going to leave it off here, you guys. Can the God Squad stop this? Will there be new members added to the team? But that's going to be off today, you guys. You have a blessed day.